So we want to give you 5 things that you can do and concentrate on to improve your shot during the season. For every single episode of the Inside Out, we always try to bring value to players and coaches to help them get better. This episode is no different. We are going to discuss ways to improve your shot during the season. Now, in season is not the best time for somebody to be doing a complete overhaul of their shooting mechanics. It just takes too much time for a player to get comfortable with that sort of thing, and there's also not enough time to be putting in work outside of practice to get the results fast enough for them to pay off. So we want to give you 5 things that you can do and concentrate on to improve your shot during the season. So the first thing that we're going to talk about is balance. We want to stay on balance throughout our shot. Basically, in the simplest terms, that means we want to be straight up and down in our shot, and we want to land where we started our shot. Now, obviously there's different situations if a guy's gonna be shooting a fadeaway or something like that. But in general, we wanna be straight up and down so we're not drifting right or left, we're not jumping back or jumping too far forward, or we're not leaning way back. So our balance is pretty much straight up and down. If you can do that, it's gonna make your shot simpler. You don't have to account for extra movement, and the simpler your shot is, the more likely you are to make it repeatedly. Second thing that we're going to key in is follow through. Right? So we want to be on balance in our shots and then stick our follow through. So we want our follow through to be straight on the rim. We want our elbow to be above our eyes when we finish. Right? We'll talk about that a little bit more, but we want to stick it high and center of the rim. That's a term that I got from Joey Burton. It's high and center of the rim. If you're a coach, you want to develop some short little coaching cues or phrases that you can use with your player so that maybe in the course of a game or practice, when their follow through is drifting off, you can just yell out, high and center on the rim, and they know exactly what you're talking about. The third thing for you to key in on is arc. Most players shoot the basketball too flat. If you can shoot the ball higher and get the ball dropping down onto the top of the rim through the net, you're gonna make more shots than if the ball is coming in flat because you have more margin of error. And if you're gonna try this, you're a player, you're gonna have to shoot the ball higher than you think you need to. Right? Because if you make an adjustment where you think you're shooting the ball higher, it's probably not going to be as high as you think it is or as it should be. One other key with your arc is to make sure that on your follow through, you're pushing up through the ball. We talked about having your elbow above your eyes on the finish. Basically what that means is that when you're going into your shot, you're pushing up through your elbow and out towards the basket. A lot of players have a bad habit of bending forward, so they're pushing the ball straight out and they have that flat trajectory, which limits how many shots you're gonna make. If you shoot the ball flat, you pretty much gotta be perfect to get it in. So we wanna shoot the ball with more arc and give it a higher chance of going in. The fourth thing that we're gonna emphasize during the season to improve our shot is limiting turn. When you shoot the basketball, like we said earlier, the simpler your shot is, the more consistent it's gonna be. So if you have a heavy turn in your shot, or maybe you start square to the basket, and by the time you finish, you're all the way turned to the sideline, it's hard to be consistent like that. So whether you start with your feet turned and your shoulders angled to start, or your feet square, that's kind of your personal preference. But you have to finish the same way that you start, right? So if you start square, finish square. If you start turn, finish turn. Do not twist in your shot. Now, a little bit might be okay, but as soon as you have any type of heavy twist, your shot's gonna be inconsistent. You're gonna start to pull the ball. The last key for improving your shot during the season is get extra shots up. We referenced this a couple episodes ago, kind of talking about getting the work in outside of practice and making time to get work in for yourself and keep your skills sharp and keep improving during the season. You have to do this with your shot. So you need to make time. You're not going to find time. So whether it's getting up before school and going to the gym, or the Y early and getting your shots up, or staying before practice or after practice, whatever you have to do, you have to make sure that you can get in the gym so that you have time to get the reps and keep your shot fine-tuned during the season. Thanks for checking out this week's episode of The Inside Out. If you found value in this episode or you have questions, please feel free to comment. We always try and answer any questions in response to any messages that we get, whether it's email, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We're always trying to respond to any questions. And if you think that this episode would help somebody that you know, please share it with them. We'd be more than grateful, and we appreciate your support, and thank you for watching.
Today, I know that a lot of you were pushed way harder than you've ever been before. You gotta work smart. Anybody can go through a drill and go really hard. If you don't have the technique down, you're not gonna improve. You gotta work consistently. Anybody can work hard once in a while. Anybody can come to a camp once in a while. Anybody can work hard when they feel like it. Okay, so you gotta work outside your comfort zone, mentally and physically. Number 2, you gotta work smart. And number 3, you gotta do it consistently. So don't fool yourself by thinking that you're working hard if you're not doing all 3 of those things.